So, you're tied up, floating face up in a pond, and a man in a very tall hat has just announced that the fact you didn't drown proves you're a witch. How'd you end up here? It's a lovely morning in the year 1650. Your bread rose nicely, your garden's fine, and your neighbor has just accused you of witchcraft. No appeal, no lawyer, and being completely innocent, that won't help. It might even make it worse. So, let's walk through what actually happens when you get accused of being a witch. Because you probably assume these accusations needed evidence. They did not. Your cow died? Witch. Milk went sour? Witch. A storm rolled in? A kid got sick. The crops failed. Or, the big one, you simply annoyed the wrong person? Witch. Most of the accused were women, older, poorer, widowed, or just a little too opinionated for the neighborhood's taste. And once one finger points, the whole village joins in. Suddenly, everyone remembers every odd thing you ever did. That time you talked to your cat. That time you correctly guessed it would rain. A mob forms. And in 1650, that's not a figure of speech. It's a literal crowd with literal pitchforks who've already decided you're guilty. Enter your new least favorite person, the witch hunter. England's most famous was a man named Matthew Hopkins, who gave himself the title Witchfinder General, a job that didn't exist, that nobody appointed him to, and that paid extremely well. These men went town to town, found witches with suspicious reliability, collected a fee per witch, and moved on. It was a startup. The product was you. First, he hunts for the devil's mark, a spot that supposedly can't feel pain. How does he find it? He picks any freckle, mole, or bug bite, things every human alive has, and pricks it with a pin. Doesn't bleed? Witch. And some of these pins had retractable tips, so the result was guaranteed. The science was, let's say, flexible, but the truly unbeatable evidence is spectral evidence. That's when someone claims your ghost slipped out at night and pinched them. There's no defense. You could be asleep in your own bed in front of 10 witnesses. Doesn't matter. Your spirit snuck out. At Salem, testimony like this sent people to the gallows. You cannot alibi a ghost. The ghost is always free. The ghost never has plans. Still need proof? Try the swimming test. The logic. Pure water rejects a witch. So they tie you up, attach a rope, and toss you in. Float, you're a witch, and you're executed. Sink, congratulations, you're innocent. Also, possibly drowning. So your two outcomes are guilty or one, but unconscious. Survive that, and now they interrogate you. For hours, days, no sleep, same questions, round and round, until your brain gives up. They don't want the truth. They want a confession, and exhausted, terrified people confessed to anything. Flying, chatting with the devil, attending midnight parties they were definitely not invited to. Then, they'd ask you to name other witches, and a scared person names anyone. That's how one accusation becomes 20. The methods got weirder. At Salem, someone baked a witch cake using the urine of a bewitched person and fed it to a dog, expecting the dog to reveal the witch. The dog revealed nothing. It was a dog. It ate the cake. That was the entire experiment. Forensic science, 1692. Eventually, you get a trial, and I use that word loosely. No defense lawyer, the judge already decided. The evidence is a freckle, a ghost story, and the fact that you floated. You can speak, but everything you say becomes more proof. Cry? Witches fake tears. Stay calm? Only a witch stays calm. Get angry? Classic witch. There is no correct way to behave. The verdict was set before you walked in. And then the whole village gathers to watch, treating a neighbor's death like the afternoon's entertainment. Someone, somewhere, almost certainly brought a snack. Though, here's a fact that surprises people. In England and at Salem, convicted witches were usually hanged, not burned. The stake is mostly a continental European thing, not that it helps from where you're standing. Across these centuries, tens of thousands were executed, overwhelmingly women. Almost none of them anything but ordinary, unlucky, inconvenient people. It's easy to laugh at the pinpricks and the urine cake, and you should. It's absurd. But none of this was really about magic. It was about fear, money, grudges, and what a community does when it decides it needs someone to blame. The accused were just whoever was standing closest when the panic started, which is a lot less funny and worth remembering. But here's the part the history books leave out. Because the night before your trial, something the village didn't account for happened. All those pinpricks and pawns and pointing fingers, they got one tiny detail wrong. See, you were running a little late for something. Because it turns out, the village got one thing right after all. You really were a witch. You were just also extremely tired of the paperwork. And up there, far above the pitchforks and the pawns and one very confused dog, you weren't alone. Turns out the village had been very busy lately. Thanks for watching. Now go touch some grass before someone accuses you of enchanting it.